Today, we're going to talk about the Tyranid campaign in Boarding Patrol and the nibs list I'm bringing to it.
From buying your first box of minis and paint to being a competent player at the gaming table, we have you covered.
We play every miniature game at a heroic level. We'd like to take a moment and thank our sponsors and Patreons that keep the channel going, plus you for watching the videos. Be heroic and click that subscription button.
Hello, everybody, and welcome in. Thanks for clicking on the channel. If you hadn't hit that sub button, we greatly appreciate that. And then before we get started, as always, I'd like to thank the Patreons that keep everything on, that keep the lights on, that keep us actually doing what we're doing and allow us to make content. If you'd like to become one of those, you can click the link below and go to that and see if you'd want to do one of those. And then the sponsors, they're on the screen, scrolling. Try to say that several times fast. They've got at the bottom, and they allow us to take and play a lot of the different games that we do play on the channel. But as the intro stated, I'm going to quickly go over 5-10 minutes, go over the list that I'm going to bring for the Tyranid campaign in Boarding Patrol that we're doing starting on Monday nights. We've got a vote for 2 other armies to be included in it. The other one is going to be the Marine Army that David will bring, and we'll have a list of what he's bringing and constructing there. But without further ado, we will get started in the Tyranid one that I'm going to do. So I'm going to flip this over, so if I do this right, to the Tyranids. So in Boarding Patrol, I still get my army rules, so we'll quickly go over those. So synapsis, anytime any unit within a synapsis range of another one is considered to be in synapsis range. In Boarding Patrol, that does go through the walls. Most things do not, so that is actually pretty cool for that standpoint. When they have a battle shock test, they will roll 3d6 to take the 2 dice to see if they can meet or beat the leadership, so they pass. That's really good for 1, holding objectives. 2, one that's going to be really spicy in Boarding Patrol because it does come up a lot is depending on the mission we're playing is holding the objectives. So during, I think, the command phase, at any time or any phase, either person's turn, I can use, because in my list I will have one. I'm going to make sure I read this right. Command phase. Yeah, command phase. So I will have one that has the Shadow of the Warp ability. So once per game, I can have all his units take battle shock. So it might be that turn he's setting on all the objectives, and I go, nope, let's see if we can just stop scoring and do that. So that's really going to be cool, and I'm interested to see how that plays in Boarding Patrol because scoring points each turn is crucial. As if you watch any of our Monday night shows, you can see missing one round, missing one turn of that is a big, big deal. The detachment rules. Basically, I get to choose one of these for the whole battle. Because it is Boarding Patrol, it's going to be very straightforward. I'm always going to be swarming tactics because basically it's infantry. In Boarding Patrol, you don't have a lot of monstrous vehicles because they can't fit. So it will be that one for pretty much every time I take and play one of these. The campaign will allow me to make some changes and modify, so I'm really looking forward to that. And as we go through the campaign and do that and they level up and stuff, we'll actually record videos on those. So pay attention and look out for those. Hit that bell if you hadn't so you get notified when we put stuff up. It's not always just Boarding Patrol or 40K. We do a lot of other content too, so you may not want to have the bell. The first unit is going to be my character unit because you get 1 character in Boarding Patrol out of your 500 points. And I am bringing a Broodlord. There's a reason I'm bringing the Broodlord. He's got movement 8. Let me pull this up on my phone so I can see it because my eyes are not as good as they used to be. Y'all can see it on the screen, but basically I've got this. I can't, so I'll do this, and then I can actually... The movement 8, he's T5, so it's pretty good for infantry. Save is 4, and he also has a 4 invul. 6 wounds, a leadership 7. 1 OC, not the greatest, but really and truly, he's just going to be moving, trying to take and have some combat. He does have a melee. And that's it. So he's got to get melee. They are devastating wounds in tween link, so he'll be able to reroll those. Really, his leadership ability, he's Scout 8, so he can get to pregame move, which allows me to get up the table. He does have synapsis. And then his 2 data sheets. One is models leading a unit, which in Boarding Patrol they can't lead a unit. Weapons equipped with models have devastating wounds. Or at the start of the 5 phase, select a unit with engagement range of this model until the end of the phase. Each time that model makes an hit, subtract 1 from the hit rolls. So what's really cool is he's going to pair in well for one of the other units that I'm bringing. You won't see him probably in the big game, but in Boarding Patrol, they actually make a lot of sense. But that is his abilities. and the way he is loaded out. So he has 1. Really there for his movement, his pregame movement, and his 2 abilities, because they're going to be able to be used. Because in Boarding Patrol, he does not lead units, but he can spend a CP on a unit that he can lead and give that ability during the command phase. And we will get to that unit here at the bottom. If you hadn't figured it out yet, as I slowly scrolled, he could only lead Gene Stealers. So yes, I will be bringing a unit of those. For my second unit, which is my troop choices, I'm actually bringing 2 units of these. These are going to be 2 10-man squads of Hormagaunts. If I'm not mistaken, I'll have to double check, but they cannot. They will split at the beginning, so it'll be 4 5-man units when it comes to Boarding Patrol. The move is 6. They're T3, save of 5 up, 1 wound. OC is 2. Leadership is an 8+. Really important to be able to have the synapses so they get the 3d6. The cool thing for them is the Skulking Horrors. Once per turn, when an enemy unit ends its normal or advanced move within 9 of this unit, if this unit's not within engagement range, it can move. So basically, I can move myself out of charge ranges. I can move myself into better shooting positions. There's a lot of things that I can do with that. They can set the Overwatch, and then be able to take a move to maybe get the shot. So a lot of interesting pieces that I'll be able to do with those. In melee, they're not really. They're just 1 attack each, 4+, strength 3, and so forth. Their ranged weapons are assault, so they can advance. 18 1-shot, 4 or 5. It's not great. It's just going to be weight of dice with them, and really they're my units to go get on objectives quickly and efficiently so I can score points, because in Border Patrol, that is what it is all about. Let's see here. So the next one, if I can get the cursor to work here. The next unit is Zonothropes, because they can actually come into Boarding Patrol as well. Pretty possible they can after I've done all this work. Oh, I can. I know I can. So I looked at one string, the Boarding Patrol rules. They're here because I just wanted to have, this is kind of my damage dealers. So if you think of the way I've built the list, I've got 2 units of 10 Hormagaunts, which are split into 4 5s. They're really objective, get some extra movement. I've got a Broodlord. He's basically getting out there to attack and try to do some damage melee around the walls, moving around, doing some shenanigans that way. And then I've got the Zonothropes. Their move's 5, so it's not very fast. They are T5, so they're a little harder to kill. They have a 5-up save, but they got the 4-up invul. They have 3 wounds each. But their abilities, Shadow of the Warp, which they give me the ability to make, because one unit just has to have it. The Spirit Leech, so while this unit contains a Neurothrope, which they will, the enemy unit is within 6 inches of the unit. Each time that enemy unit fails a battle shock test, it suffers D3 mortal wounds, and 1 model on that unit regains D3 lost wounds. So I can basically hurt somebody, heal somebody. While friendly Tyranids are within 6, they have a 6-up invul, so basically they can go 6-up invul to the Hormagaunts to try and hold on to points. The ranged weapons, it's just a Witchfire. We can do D6 +1 or D3. If I want to make it lethal, it's got Blast, Psychic. And then in close range, they're not really that great, so they're just going to kind of be that threat. They're looming around, trying to do some mortal wound output. From that standpoint, it will be 1 Neurothrope and 2 Zonothropes in it. The way the unit is actually set up. And then the last one is Gene Stealers, and the way I've done this is it's actually going to be a 10-man unit of Gene Stealers, which again will split into 2 5-man. So if you're actually doing count on how many NID units I will have in my 500-point combat patrol, or not combat patrol, boarding patrol in the campaign of the Tyrannic War, it's going to be basically 4 units of Termagants, 2 units of Gene Stealers, a Zonothrope unit, and a Broodlord. So that gives me 8 units, which is pretty good because of the way the game plays and the angles and so forth. So I'm excited to see how they actually play. They may just be horrible. With the Gene Stealers, they are 8-inch move as well. Their abilities, they have Scout 8, so they can both 2 5-inch can move out. So therefore the Broodlord can move with them. He can pick one of them to give them the ability to. They have Synaptus, and then they have Vanguard Predator as well. Each time a model makes an attack, you reroll a 1. If they're in range of a objective, they get to reroll all the wounds. So they can, once they hit in combat, be really good. They do have a lot of attacks. Their strength 6. Skill, no, I'm sorry, 2+, strength 4. 2+, -2, 1 damage. So good AP, it's just 1 damage. They're T4 with a 5-up save and 5-up invul. 2 wounds each and leadership 7. Their OC is only 1, so they're not really holding the objectives, more so of getting out there and doing the damage in combat. So I've kind of got 2 of those in a Broodlord, so it gives me some combat damage. And then you've got You've got so the Broodlord, 2 5-minute Chancellors give me some combat damage, so if I can get around some corners and hit some stuff, decent AP. Not massive damage, but decent AP to try and get it to on invulns or 5 and 6 of save so I can actually start killing stuff. They're decent on their save, 2 wounds each, because they can take and re-roll the wounds. I should be able to get a lot of dice through. The 4 units of Hormagaunt, because it's 10 man split into 2 5s, will be able to move. They get to move again if somebody finishes with a 9, so they got kind of a double move. They are OC. They can do the objective secure ability, so I can kind of use them to get the backfield and then kind of swarm the ship, so to speak. And then the Zonothrope is just for, hey, that's a tough nut to crack because I can't really get damage through, so they're my mortal wound output to a point to try and get the damage through on that. So they're there to kind of help do that, do the big brain bugs. And the biggest thing is the being able to force them to take an objective secure test, not objective secure, a battle shock test during their command phase. So that is my 500 point Tyrannic War Campaign Tyranids list. So you will see them over the course of the next 3 months or so as we run through this. As we write it up, we have fun with it. There'll be some different things, and we'll also show you the upgrades we give them as they level up with experience and so forth. So that is it. If you've made it this far, then that means you've watched enough to maybe I've earned your sub button, so you hit that subscribe button so we can keep growing. I think we're 35 away from 750, which means we are almost at our next big giveaway, and then we're up to 1,000 for the next big giveaway, and then I don't know where it goes from there. It's just exciting from that standpoint, but I greatly appreciate anybody that has watched it. Your time is something you don't get back, so if you've given it to me in the channel, thank you very much. We greatly appreciate. With that, leave any comments below on what you think of the list, how you think it'll do in the war, what you'd like to see, and maybe as it expands, as it grows, what are the units I might bring into it once I get the power level / point level increased to grow the unit and grow the army as we continue this through. So with that, everyone have a great one, and we will see you next time.